Right, let us continue with the press review to lighter news now. And Stephen Zimondo Lorenzo are with me in studio this morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
You're looking at all that today.
Thank you. Thank you. How was Zanzibar?
Zanzibar was really nice.
Yeah.
I know Lorenzo is really jealous. But I know Lorenzo went to Machakos and other places, and I think it was a great picture. Besides, I promised to bring you some little things. So
Yes. Where is my
somewhere there,
gift?
around the corner. You could have seen.
You see how people
Should have
know
seen.
that the gift was brought is when they see it.
Okay.
How am I being
My boss, I'm not sure they'll let me do this, but it's somewhere around the corner.
Anyway, I see it. I see it's beautiful, lovely. So it was good, the festival?
Lorenzo, you didn't need nothing from me from Zanzibar.
I'm good, my brother. I don't need nothing from you. I was here keeping Sophia company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keeping me company.
Absolutely.
Let's begin with the pulse, guys. And interesting headline, deserted at home. So the local artists feeling that there is not much attention given to them in terms of the picking of music in clubs. What we see played mostly in clubs is, international music. And so they're unhappy with that.
I think it's everybody, and I just think it's a stage, it's a level of our showbiz lifestyle. Like we always count down around 10 years now, 15 years, enjoying the showbiz celebrityhood as we know it today. Lorenzo knows the whole story about since the days of Nameless, Issa, and all that. And what you're saying is that we've come to a point where we feel like the industry has gone into a plateau, and there's not much development in the music industry. And are we making hits? Are we producing good videos? Are we together at the end of the day? And how comes a day like today you'd say, like for example, and that's the debate. Diamond, for example, is the biggest artist in Kenya, and the whole debate starts from there.
Absolutely, I would agree with Stevens because you look at Kenyan music, but we've had people who don't produce songs that add value, not only hits but songs that add value.
Right.
So Kenyan fans have been moving from bongo to Niger music.
Because of Niger, I know that
Niger.
has really
So
been
and then
South
these are songs that when they're played in the club, everyone is up.
Lorenzo, is it the songs or is it how the DJs make us believe this is the thing?
No, it's the songs because
songs.
so it's unfair for the local artist to claim or accuse the deck masters, the DJs, for sidelining them or not playing their music. I think if you do have a really good song, they will play it because people will want it. You saw Fundamentals, because people kind of like it for whatever reason, and it will play.
Absolutely.
But the story is bigger than that. You're just saying. Is it that we don't know where we are moving towards? Is it that we have no direction in our music? Because Nigeria began the other day. Actually, Nigeria, as we would say, they picked basically our Kapuka beat and hyped it with something, and now they have a beat of themselves and say, oh, Nigerian music.
Are you saying Nigeria borrowed from Kenya?
I was watching
Definitely.
Davido's new video last night.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, oh, no, this is a new beat in town now. And you're just thinking, is it us who don't know where we're moving towards, or is it, what is it?
Stevens, let me just add in here. If you listen to a piece of music from Tanzania, you definitely take some moments and then say, that is bongo. You listen to Kwairo music from South Africa, it's Kwairo.
Yeah.
Niger beat. Do you have one beat
For Kenya.
We just don't know. And then whatever we sing is not the type of lyrics that you want to listen to with your kids at times.
Yeah, we'd have a lot of borrowing. We don't yet have an identity, just like we haven't found that national dress which we looked for at some point. We did not get it. So in terms of identity, yes, we have our individual, and some tribes have that, ethnic groups have that identity in terms of their sound and their beat. But as a country,
no.
And another point is in the story is that we don't like each other. Lorenzo is making a hit. I'm thinking, that would be a hit than me. So I have to say every bad thing about Lorenzo so that his music doesn't make it beyond mine. And we've seen cases where artists have come up hating on each other. And the unity and all lot of we are one industry is not happening.
So read more about what's happening in the music industry and what the musicians are saying. Page 4, who rocks the world?
You look so interested with that little beautiful page.
What do you mean I look interested?
I think you should be there.
Now, I like what they said, that even though fashion trends are lately edging towards the bootylicious girl, and we see the bootylicious women making yoga, you know, the Veras.
The Veras of this world.
Yeah, they're all over the papers nowadays. But we have size 8 is still a hot look, and not size 8 the musician.
Yep.
The size 8 as the size
little girl.
body size.
Yep.
So what size of women?
Lorenzo would tell us what size of women
he fancies.
He's already moving towards another page.
I'll be very free. I'll
But
be
tell us,
very
is
sincere.
it true size 8 is still...
Is it accommodating?
Yeah.
That is the size.
That is the size. You like them...
Forget the chubby stuff or the big stuff. You like it
You like them small.
I mean, somebody's watching there and they're just thinking,
size.
Lorenzo just said the size 8 is the in thing, and Sophia's show, and would you let people comment on that?
Yeah, let us know
what size is it. What size is it for?
What about you?
I think everybody is endowed in their own little way.
Yeah, but of course you don't...
I respect everybody as they are.
It's not about respect.
And
what do you
what it
fancy? You're such...
Just putting me on the spot. I can't believe this.
No, but I think at the end of the day, it's about, they come in different sizes and shapes, and it's all about what you fancy. And for the women, it's you being comfortable in your skin and whatever body you have. You can be a size 8 and you're not comfortable. You feel, people who feel fat or feel very skinny in that size, or even size, 10. So I think with every size, it's about, for the man, what works for you. For the woman, also what you're comfortable in. And always working towards that.
We can have this debate away
You
from
refuse to tell us. But I already have, I know what you like. Page 6.
Yes.
I know what you like. So this is interesting. Diamond was in a relationship with his relative.
Yep.
What? And they did not find out for a very long time.
Until quite later, actually, when the lady right now has a baby.
Is it his baby?
Penny has a baby who's supposedly or allegedly Diamond's baby. And we put Penny on the spot. Diamond was on TV over the weekend before he went to South Africa, talking about, well, this happened. And he's trying to explain himself and say, I don't blame myself for it because I didn't even know anything about this.
Right.
I have a right as a young man who is single to fall in love and decide who I get to love. But along the way, a relative comes on the way and says, guys, you guys are relatives. I know your grandfathers, grandmothers from somewhere, and it was an old rocking story in TZ and across East Africa right now.
Again,
how Diamond is loved.
Yeah, a relative. Yes.
Diamond is one man who, his story is girls. Is always everywhere.
The best girls.
The best girls. You remember he had Wema.
Yep.
He's a big time girl. He had Jokate.
Another model.
And then there was another, and then there was now Penny.
Yep.
Now they started
So
going
Penny
out.
is this one?
Yes.
Penny is this one.
Now they started going out with Penny.
VJ Penny.
Yeah, but then somewhere, they were in love first. They didn't know. But then somewhere along the line, the relatives now start telling them. But again, it's a distant relation. One way or the other, if you look down the tree, you'll get that, Sophia, I'm related to you.
Never.
One way or the
Never.
other,
That
down
tree
the
does
tree.
not...
Are you trying to just say something?
Let us just leave them. Let him be.
But it happened.
In
That
the
is
tree
happening.
of the Lord, we are all related.
We are related,
Are
but
you trying to
we in
disown
Africa
me?
we're blood and all that is such a thing. And you can imagine that I have a cousin of mine who is a lover. It doesn't happen like that. And to make matters worse, this Diamond, and this is his relative who is a VJ, a girl who is coming out with all the swag, and they are just doing a renovation of a house. They hook up and we like each other, and they're moving on.
Oh, well, just always do that background check to make sure you're not dating your cousin. Page 17 and the pearls. This is so true about what we see happening, especially nowadays. Desperate publicity stunts.
Yeah.
And we're learning, I think the industry is learning a lot from the Hollywood, the Miley Cyrus. Yes.
Everybody is pulling a stunt.
Yes, just to catch the attention of everybody.
Well, I think we are an industry which probably is trying to, again, get to a level where we've never been before. And we see many guys pulling stunts, and we were here last week with Mustafa and Huda, and the great photo which everybody's talking about right now, when they were couples together, smoking stuff, and and posing together. And Mustafa came out and said, hey, Huda is my new catch, and we're in love. And he said, are we even going for Valentine's in Malindi? And Pulse tried to just make sense out of it, end of the day. And not just Mustafa and Huda, but so many guys who said, oh, this happened to me, this happened to me. I have a chopper, I have a car, I have a blah. And then you just follow and say, hey, that guy was just putting a stand on us. Really, it wasn't right. And I think it's for us, the media, really to tell people the truth about.
I always wonder what Huda will think about all these stories 10 years, 15 years from now. Anyway, Lorenzo.
You know, I think we are misjudging Huda and the two. You know,
which two?
Which two?
You know, there is another person.
There are many people in that story.
Yes. Yeah, you see? But now, take a look at Kenyan showbiz. Remember, if you don't make the headlines in a month, you're done.
You're forgotten.
So if you can't release a hit or pull a TV show or something, just make sure that people read about you.
Yeah,
that
make sure in scandalous relationships, you're jumping from one to the other.
Not only scandalous relationship, there are many things that you can do.
Or going naked.
No, there are many things that you can do.
But that's what we are seeing.
And these two people are, I would agree, Mustafa is a good friend of mine. He is in love. Right?
He's in love, really.
He is in love.
I mean,
and he's saying that he wants to treat this lady like a queen.
Like Prezzo never treated her. I mean, so you rob Prezzo in this.
The question is not about whether he's in love or not. The question is the things they do and the hookups they'll get into just to keep themselves in the headlines. Come up with music.
I like what you say, and that's an ugly point. You're so desperate for publicity and all that. But why can't you make good music? Then we play it and say,
at the end, as the main story is about, they complain that their music is not being played. But if you're spending most of your energy focusing on trivialities and not really what will keep you there.
You know what you guys are saying is what built Diamond in TZ. Hitting the headlines for all the wrong reasons. The only difference is that Diamond was doing his scandals and also making music at the same time.
Yeah.
That is what we should emulate.
That's what they should do.
Scandals must also go hand in hand with the music.
Without scandals, there's no Pulse without scandals, I guess.
I think guys should just grab a copy of Pulse and read.
Let's look at Overheard. Yeah, and Overheard today, finally in the Pulse page 23. Quite a number of stories here. There's an interesting one that caught my eye. Singer gets BMW for Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So it's so beautiful how she got this... reaching her venue, they were going on a date, and she was handed a note saying, I got you a small toy, to play with for some time. I hope you like it. And then she was given keys to a convertible silver BMW.
You're not giving the whole story away, but that happened.
Yes.
and I don't know if this happens in Kenya.
Right.
That was in Uganda.
That was in Uganda.
An artist in Uganda. And I like the whole debate again. I tried to follow up the story and see how Kenyans comment on it. And they say, you see how romantic guys out there get to women out there in Nigeria and Uganda, taken back to the Kenyan man. I'm thinking we can buy clothes, we can buy better things and not even show all those things. The woman wants things to show.
So you're saying the Kenyan men are being what?
We're investing on a better thing, not the car.
Oh, you're buying women chambers.
Lorenzo, I don't know what to buy for people. The only way the Kenyan man doesn't respond really well to the woman.
Stevens, I'm not dating. So
it's not about you. Nothing. What do you think the big
man
stars,
showing
this men with muscle that have got the money, what are they doing for their women?
You know, what I read in this is something different. It is a race. People are trying to outdo the other. So you did that to your woman, I'm doing this to my woman.
But sometimes it's not about that. It should just really be about doing something special. I don't think everybody goes out to do something, let me compete. Sometimes really is genuine.
But did you see the response that she made that, oh, you are my Superman?
Oh yeah, so she says here, yes, my Jesus.
Because I can afford a car.
Thank you.
Jesus, I love this man. Oh my Allah, happy Valentine's. I love you, Superman. And I love my Valentine's.
That's how that comes looking like. So if I cannot afford a car for you, and I'm
you
really,
know
really
Superman.
I'm not a Superman.
It's okay. Even if you buy those flowers on the streets of Nairobi, you'll still be Superman to whoever loves you.
Sophia, just contrast the two pages, page 22 and page 23.
Yes.
Get back to our debate. On the left side of page 22, we have Grandpa Issues.
Yes.
Grandpa is one of the contemporary, most successful record label.
Yeah.
Very successful,
True.
right? And they have issues. They're making headlines for issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, contrast. On page 23, we have Alicia's. That chick is good.
Which is beautiful, I agree.
And why do we have her there? Alicious preaches peace
Peace in
in
Congo.
Congo.
As she did.
So you see, Alicious, a Congolese musician, is making headlines for the good reason,
She's
Wow.
pretty.
right?
Oh.
And this other side, our musicians, who you want us to listen to, are making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Well, I think I summarized that in a very simple way, and I
Yeah.
was just talking with Sophia yesterday. And Nameless, when he was talking about the story, he says, you know, guys, what? Let's focus on positive things now. We can worry so many things about the music. So and so is not playing my music. I'm not being invited for shows and all that. Let's focus on positive energy and move these energies to the next level.
And I like what, like, for example, Giuliani has done. He's a man who, other than his music, he's gotten involved in several campaigns. He's now on this farming, encouraging young people to get into farming. So that is more than music. That people will remember you for more than just, you know,
Scandals and all that.
Absolutely.
who
So
you're dating and who's... Yeah,
Yeah.
all those things. The Nairobian, this Furahi Day, First Lady, Mutua's wife. So, I actually saw Smita. Where is Smita? I saw him smiling. Actually, one of the pictures in the
They were
house
hanging out.
is of him and the
and the governor.
Machakos governor.
They were hanging
So
out.
he
over
was
the
there.
weekend. He was there.
I'm so
The
gonna-
first team was there, actually.
Yeah, were you there, Lorenzo?
no.
You didn't
no.
go? But this is the new, well, at least the one he said is the first lady.
Well,
She's
on
beautiful.
Facebook. I think the whole story came from Facebook.
Yeah, he
when,
posted the picture.
when
and
the governor
captioned
posted
her.
an attention grabbing
Yes.
photo.
He launched, you know, he's launching quite a number of things.
No, that was quote launch. I don't think that I can throw many photos of
The
me and
governor.
feel like we say as push it trolley, and like people just say what they want.
No,
Probably
this
was
is
just
the
that.
governor. You cannot just no. I disagree, Stevens. He's the governor of a whole county.
Wow.
He posts a picture and captions her the first lady.
Okay.
Of course, he's saying that's my woman.
Lorenzo.
Yes, you know what is happening with Dr. Alfred Mutua, as we know him. He's a governor, we agree. And the states where we've borrowed from this idea of having counties and mini states, you look at America, a governor is someone who has the potential of being the country's president. Now, what we are looking at is, since he became governor, he's been seen lately with some lady who we do not know. But now, he not only posted that on Facebook, he also confirmed it on Jeff Koinange live show, right? And says that is her, but let us leave my family issues
Out of this.
out
Out
of
of
this.
this.
But now, then we have
Josephine.
the Nairobian. Now went a step ahead to try and
Find out more G.
merge. But then Josephine says that I was married
What?
in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Did they divorce?
No,
Was?
and I am still married. We have 3 children. Right. That is what she told in Nairobi. And as far as she's concerned, she's the first lady of Machakos.
Does he still take care of the children? What did she say?
I think it's
How
for the
about
people to read this story.
to
And
read the story?
I think it's a
And
bit
get more.
sensitive when you talk about, and I was watching the show on TV,
Yes.
and he says, you know, we didn't really come here to talk about family issues, but Nairobian goes and digs the whole thing. I think it's for the guys to grab our own copy
Now, if you want to know the story,
and get the whole story right
And
there.
get the
Nairobi.
story.
Unless
Then there's a bizarre one
Well.
that continues on page 9. Celebrity reveals how he was asked for human sacrifice. And this also points to that wanting to get to the top real fast. So, you know, he gets into a conversation where he's told you sacrifice your relative and you'll get all this fame and fortune. It's quite a bizarre story. It's called what? Robinson Opio.
the unfortunate part of the story is that this is true. It's happening in Nairobi. It's been borrowed from Nigeria. You know, the way we are good in borrowing.
the wrong thing.
No.
Sometimes.
Juju, Kenya has always had its own juju.
We've always, but have you,
I've never seen Juju. So.
but
Or
have
Juju
you
Yalo.
seen how Juju
I've
move
not
into our
seen.
music?
Huh?
Now, Juju's moved into music, and according to the story, there are other people who've done this, right?
So people
and they're
who
doing
want-
good
Okay.
Okay.
musically.
Okay.
So again, as we say, just grab a copy of the Nairobian for more details.
We had such a story some little time ago. Bamboo, when he came back and he talked about how he was asked to sacrifice
Yeah.
stuff to become a big star. And end of the day, he said, you know what? That's why I'm even getting saved, because the things that are happening out there, for you to become a hit, the disease of this world and whoever it is, you really have to go through some things.
Yeah.
It's still a big debate there, whether it happens or not, but now we're seeing it.
You're saying, and you can
coming
get
into
more
Kenya.
details.
Yeah.
And you know what? A story that many Nairobians will identify with on page 2 is the 10 things Nairobians have given up on. And number 6, blackout when it rains. I find out so. It starts raining and you're like, uh-oh. And the lights actually just go.
Kenya power and darkness.
I don't know.
Power and darkness.
You know, and then there's the bus fare regulation, traffic.
It's obvious. It's given. Like somebody said, when Kenyans decide let's move towards this direction, we all move. So traffic happens.
Many people have bought cars, but we still have the same infrastructure.
Same. And that's the other big question that goes again to Nairobi and the infrastructure in this country. And Kidero be put on the spotlight every day. I mean, the big promise was to expand our roads, infrastructure and all that. And the question is, what is happening, guys? Why are we still in the BC?
Yeah, that is why you have your number 2. Nairobians have just given up on traffic.
10 things Nairobians cannot.
So 10 things that Nairobians we relate with. And then I watched this story, and you have it as well, page 4. Man of God dies in woman's house. So this was which part of the town? Buruburu?
Buruburu.
And so she said he'd come for prayers, for private prayers.
Absolutely. No, the lady says that she was going to the bank. Then she got a call from her pastor, who's saying that I'm just next to your door. And he told the pastor, okay, let me finish up the bank, I'm coming.
So passionately.
Yeah, so when the lady came back, you see, Sophia, then the pastor said, okay, it's been a long day, I want to have a rest. So the lady said that, okay, sat down there.
So he wanted to rest, like sleeping?
Yes.
So he slept in.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So the next thing that the lady says that after some minutes, he started breathing heavily. And when well-wishers came to help, the pastor was really having a special prayer.
I came from a long day to my faithful's house and decided, let me take a break. Let me take a break and start breathing heavily. I mean, how does that work? You didn't say you were sick. I could be resting because I'm not feeling well. I just had a long day and
he'd been there before. Neighbors said they'd seen him. In fact, they didn't know he was a pastor. They thought it was a boyfriend. But anyway, it's sad that he's dead. So I think
it's sad.
Any other things to say beyond that?
But now
it's beyond us.
Yeah. The story that the Nairobian brings now, we have the pastor who actually introduced the late Maingi to clergyhood, priesthood. We're talking about what type of person he was, and Reverend Eliud Wabukula just reading the Riot Act to the clergy and the church in general. So that is the story that Nairobian really has.
I remember 2 weeks ago we were talking about another pastor story. And so many pastor stories. And I remember some guys, some pastors actually called back sometimes some minutes later and said, you know what? Let every man just carry his cross. I mean, don't put the old church in this.
And nobody is. It's just that it's disconcerting when you see these things happen in church, you know. Page 5. Yes. Mystery of Tuju wife lover's death deepens.
Yes, the story that won't just go away.
It won't go away. And what is shocking is that it just happened really fast. 1 minute there's Tuju's wife's lover, and it's playing out. The next minute the lover is dead, and now there's one of his friends fearing for his life.
Actually, two.
Two of his friends?
Two have disappeared.
Okay.
You know, these are people who, when the Nairobian broke the news first, and we've been following the unfolding step by step. But now we cannot trace them. They're just nowhere. And their close friends are also not willing to talk.
Okay.
So they fear. So some are going into exile because there is a force out there coming for their life.
Why?
Read the Nairobian.
Read the Nairobian. Page 7, other than the troubles in paradise, who's the first lady, or at least the governor has clarified according to him who is his first lady. Wow. There's another story here. Nairobi girl denies infecting men with HIV.
Cool.
Another big story right now, which is doing the blogs and everywhere. I saw this. I was even following this last night. Even where celebrities are being pulled into it, and you know, men that we know are being said, you know what, you are part of the story, and she confirms to people this is when it happened and how it happens. But again, morality stories, issues.
Making big news in Kenya. But the lady came for a newsroom here.
Oh, did she?
Yes, because the story was
Who's accusing her of infecting men with HIV?
One of the bloggers.
Oh.
But then again, it's not just false accusations. You know, today, Sophia, If,
So how did these people know? she-
if you see Lorenzo with another lady many a time, right? You have every right to form your own opinion. So she's been
Okay.
seen many a time with some
So she's
people.
doing around.
Doing rounds.
So where
But
is
what you
HIV
don't know-
coming in? She's doing rounds, but where is HIV coming in? They're all getting infected after she's seen with them.
Now she says that she's not HIV positive.
Mm.
Maybe you can take her for the test. But again,
But won't somebody just wake up one day and decide she's HIV positive because she's going out with so many men?
I know it's
I
anyway.
mean, really?
it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
These blogs, the things sometimes they do. Page 10 meets the police constable with a PhD. Amazing. And that is where we want the police service to
Wow.
go. More
Wow.
PhDs in the
Wow.
service.
Wow.
So there's, and then the interesting thing is that he's a constable. That's the lowest
Absolutely.
I think that's what the story
position,
is.
you know?
The story is like,
Yeah.
That's
now,
what the story is.
now the Nairobian gives you an analysis of how he started
Yeah.
the journey to getting his PhD. But then you know how the forces discriminate. Reason being is that you are more learned. So should you be given any
Around.
rank, you'll get higher than your boss.
Hmm.
So they'll first set you down there.
So there are
Down
forces in the
there.
forces.
There are forces
The
in the
forces
forces.
in the force.
Cool.
Well, it's a service now, not a force,
Wow.
but yeah.
Wow.
There's an in-depth analysis, page 14 and 15 in the Nairobian, and it's the Powerpuff Girls. So all about smoking and women. So women smokers suffer the wretched delusion that lighting up affirms to the world that they too can colonize male territory. So
Students.
a feature in as far as women and smoking is concerned, and everybody's thoughts on the same.
Yeah, when we were growing up, smoking and ladies was not something we knew, for example.
Mhm.
And you grow up and discover, oh, ladies can still puff. And nowadays, like the story comes out, and everybody is thinking the Nairobi girl is puffing, and it looks so cool. Forget the shisha, which is seen to be
The influence.
that's
It's acceptable.
it's acceptable. It's okay to smoke shisha and all that. But the Nairobi girl smoking even the Harley stuff, and her try to be an equal of Lorenzo, who does it, who can even hack that. Is it again, like we asked some times ago? Is it a changing culture, or is it pressure of the peers and all?
But why is it even an issue in the first place? It's the same thing. If you can do it, why, when the woman does it, is it an issue?
Hey,
I'm
Jesus
just
Christ.
asking.
Let me tell you one
I'm
thing,
playing the
Sophia.
devil's advocate
Let
here.
me tell you one thing, Sophia.
Uh-huh.
Never ever will I date you.
That is-
that's very opinion.
That is
one.
good. That is your
That is one.
opinion.
That is one. Then
Wow.
secondly,
Yes.
you know, you go to a club, right? And you are seated, you want to have your time, right? But then there's this lady next to you, puffing,
And what
and
is why when
releasing
there's
some very funny smoke.
Freedom, though.
but most when in most clubs there will be smoking zones and areas. You'll not just be smoking in a place you're not supposed to, and they very clearly indicated. So of course then you must be the person sitting in the wrong place,
Now I'll give you,
because
Steven,
the
just a
people
minute,
there will
just a
tell you
minute.
to move if you're smoking in a non.
Before we started following this story, last month, you know, you're seated somewhere just next to the road, having a good time with your friends. Then a nice Mercedes Benz drives,
Nice Mercedes.
nice Mercedes Benz,
Mhm.
and I mean an S class. But then all the windows are down, and it had 5 ladies, all of them smoking. So you can just imagine what type of car that was. The rules are very clear.
What do you
The
mean?
rules
What
are
type
very
of
clear.
card? What rules?
No
Who came up with the
smoking. There
rules?
is no county bylaws.
No. I thought you were talking about women not
Okay.
smoking. Okay.
Yeah.
No county bylaws. This
But you
lady-
see, your
this
argument
smoke-
is
this-
leaning on women smoking, because the story is about whether or not it's a thing that is acceptable. You say you'd never date a woman who smokes,
The world has been very judgmental about ladies and their smoking habits.
right?
I keep my comments reserved, but it's a culture that which is already here. I mean,
Yeah.
ladies are allowed to smoke if you so
You
wish
see
to
how
go that
Lorenzo
way.
is looking at you like,
It's your
yeah,
life.
Really?
allowed in
The one who
another
still
word.
stands out there as smoking is all that to your
To
life.
each his or her own.
Yeah.
One of the commentaries on page 16, Edith Kimani has written about who teaches humanity to be vicious. And I read this piece, and she brings out how interconnected we are, but we don't realize. And so when bad things are happening elsewhere, we feel like it's their problem,
Right.
and yet it has ripple effects in some way.
She's always teaching us something.
Yeah, she's always teaching. So beautiful piece she's written on that as well.
Yeah.
And then you just back to back with the story of lady smoking. They really need Jesus. And if you read page 41, Reverend...
You're already on page 41.
Bishop Kiuna says that the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Vision is more precious. Right? I don't want to sound like a preacher.
No, it's okay, preach.
No, you're
Lorenzo,
preaching Alan's Bishop's word.
You might be
and it's coming on TV on KTM on Sunday. So we can as well
okay.
wait for more on Sunday.
You know, there's that segment in the morning before the show.
Yes.
People are preaching. You should
Sunday.
get a segment on there. Heads up on page 23. A number of stories, but interesting here. A story that's pitting the first family, and that is Ngina Kenyatta, President Uhuru Kenyatta's daughter. And we have the Deputy President's daughter as well, June Ruto. And have they been linked to the same guy?
Yes.
Oh.
You know, the story here is that a guy was dating one of the ladies, I won't say who, it's upon the readers by the Nairobian, but a relative of the other lady told the guy, no, that is not for you. A relative who also happens to have been a minister some time back. That is not for you. Can you do this other thing?
Okay, so read about Ngina Ruto, June Ruto, Ngina Kenyatta. Did I just sing Ngina Kenyatta?
Moving very fast. I just like the whole story about Lupita again. And last Sunday, we saw her looking so gorgeous.
I know that green.
Down the red
so
carpet.
good.
And then the hate started. And everybody was saying, yes, that's a good designer dress, but it's not the class that the words down here demand. And there's been all talk about she's not all that, what people are talking, and some haters already out there try to put her down. And I think
they're haters, as you said. Haters are gonna hate. Lupita Nyong'o settles beef with Angelina Jolie. So there was rumor after one of the events where Brad Pitt said she's very special. These are his words. She's very special, a very special young lady. We're going to see great things from her. And so apparently there were people who were saying that Angelina was not so happy. And it's blogs, of course, with those comments, and that she would end up breaking them up as Angelina did to Brad and what's her name? Aniston, Jennifer.
Everybody wants a piece of Lupita right now.
Absolutely.
Even you, right now.
I said everybody. I didn't say me. Everybody wants a piece of Lupita. When she was growing here the other day, nobody was really bothering. Now when she's winning awards and becoming,
but she's doing great, and
everybody's trying to unleash. I even took photos with her. You see this and all that, and well,
is Sauti Sol crumbling? Is another story there? Is it crumbling? Sauti Sol?
Sauti Sol is really crumbling.
Is it?
We have details in the Nairobian, but again, just some heads up.
Yes.
Look at the page where we have God Treasurer Blacks Gidi Gidi of a donation. This is a guy who we thought would be the biggest thing in Kenyan music industry,
right?
But he just went under, now making headlines again, as Pulse told us, for all the wrong reasons. That is what our artists are doing.
Oh,
okay.
I know Gidi is somewhere doing radio and probably reviewing us. Probably he will talk back more on the same story.
All right.
Bringing it back like Kate Mukeku would say.
So today the spotlight away from Heads Up is on the man in the Nairobian, page 28, 29. So last week it was about the undateable women. Today, Nairobi's most dateable men. See how that is twisted. Last time was undateable women.
Yes.
But this is dateable men. But anyway, there's a slight column here at the end. Sidebar. You guys are very, sidebar of the least desirable dates. But let's focus on the dateable ones.
Yes.
So most women would drop there, and I hate how this is wigs and wigs.
Yes, don't.
Just to have this man suit them to Slumberland, holding them tightly. So some of the men here, I love how also it's captioned, I will build a superhighway across the Indian Ocean, and that is in reference to politicians.
Absolutely.
I don't know if many women would do that.
You're looking at those photos and you're just thinking you're the lady here.
These men here, some of them are really eye candies. Like, of course, they're models.
No, pick. Can you just...
If you are to date, if you are to date...
Don't make it
from
hard.
this list.
Just to pick one of them.
Yes.
But you know what I find? This number 7, men in uniform, my boys return fire and fire. In Kenya, not quite. You think men are desirable for men? The
When we
ditchable
say
police?
men in uniform,
Mhm.
we are not only looking at cops,
Okay.
we also look at the soldiers, the guys who are doing as a good work in
Look at that.
Somalia.
Well,
Trust me,
why would Sophia look for that?
ladies.
For example.
Ladies love two things.
Mm.
What I've come to understand. Their ladies will have muscles. Right? And then, you know,
Maybe-
this was a survey. This was a survey, Sophia.
I've never seen a cop in Kenya with muscle. In like
A
well
soldier?
built.
A soldier. A soldier.
I wouldn't be looking now.
soldier is
Sophia has been
just-
looking, though.
Well,
But she hasn't seen.
But now look at
they're all
number.
over the place.
Well,
Okay, there's this is funny, Ati. We should buy all the land around Ngamia One. That is what a businessman would tell a lady
Yes.
when she's trying to, hit on her. But quite a number, and people should read the Nairobian to see. And also DJs as well are dateable. Yeah.
DJs and then, but now the shock on you. Take a look at number 5.
Makangas.
Yes.
Really?
These touts sell big time than the young
They sell
than the
big
young men.
that was
sounds
not back
like
in the
a
day.
product.
Is it
It's
still
still
happening?
Still happening.
I'll give you a good
Okay.
example. Again, we'll use Buruburu. Again, take a look at an estate like Buruburu. You have very beautiful ladies from
Mhm.
Buruburu, college going, ladies who are just in.
But the college going is because
Hold it.
they want a ride to town for free.
Yeah,
college,
they
and
just
then
pay that 50 shillings.
ladies who they just got in a job and they want to. In Buruburu, we have this thing that the hottest makanga and the hottest.
We should do a story on that.
So those guys sell more than the young men who are in those estates.
Probably we should just get it from Sophia. What would a woman be looking for in a man and to settle for the
We were
most-
actually talking about
Nice.
that. Was it Wednesday with Chris Hart, relationship expert? What women will look for an eligible. I mean, it's when you're talking about an eligible bachelor, it's pretty much a mature man who's stable, who's focused, he knows what he's doing and where he's heading in life, and several other things depending
So not the tout.
specifications.
Um,
Well, no, there could be a tout that is those things.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be a tout that's focused, that's mature, that's stable. Maybe he's investing.
that has most.
What do you mean by stable? Because what I know about Nairobi, a
Stable.
number of Nairobi women,
Stable means what
Stable, I
rich.
can buy a car like that. Celebrity
that can always, can always take her out for this and that, can always give her some cash.
I think the pressure is so
No,
much on the
that's-
men,
that's no,
on the
that's
modern
no.
men right now.
Stable is, can you take care of a family?
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to
Don't
say,
look at me like
do,
that.
do I have brains to take care of you? Do I have a focus to take care of you? Do I have insight to believe that I would be a family man? end of the
Remember,
day?
don't take away the story. It's about Nairobi's most dateable. Dateable.
Oh.
We are not saying good
Marry me.
or-
Marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, there's a sidebar there that gives you an indicator of the least desirable dates in town. Some of them are gynecologists.
Okay. Okay.
Gynecologists,
They have a right to defend themselves.
pilots as
End
well
of
are
the day,
there,
pilots.
and many more. Read about that, guys. We must bring this to a close. Thank you for joining us this morning. The Nairobian amazing stories in there, interesting analysis as well, and the pulse that's inside the Standard. Grab yourself a copy. So thank you. What's hot this weekend? What's happening?
It's, like I said, you're looking already for the weekend, and I think everybody
Yes.
is looking so pumped. I know the rains are here. We had the sunbreak also. A great show.
Cool.
The jazz
festival.
The jazz festival is around, and
right.
Safaricom doing us all that proud and bringing some of the biggest artists. I think that is something worth watching this
Worth
weekend.
watching this weekend. Where will you be?
I think you would catch me there. Sunday.
Okay.
I mean, Sunday you'd Sophia would be taken out. She's always running away from stuff. And again, the task
Tiamula's running away.
thing is be launched again on Sunday.
But I think I'll be at Alliance Française.
Okay.
What is
What's
that
happening?
Or there's a film there. There's a good stuff there called Deception.
Oh.
Awesome.
Right.
Deception. And you'll tell us about that next week. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. I will definitely enjoy mine. It is 7:28 a.m. We're glad you're watching. Why are you laughing when I say I'll enjoy mine? I will.
Because you're running away from where you'll be.
We're glad you're watching. 7:27 a.m. We're glad you're watching Morning Express.